Hello, and welcome to this self-confidence hypnosis to soften your expectations. This session can help you to feel more accepting, more adaptable, and more quietly confident in the way you approach yourself, your progress in the world, and the world around you. Now you know there's been times when you've expected yourself to get everything right straight away, to know exactly what to say, to feel completely certain before you began a task, or perhaps to expect the perfect result. And maybe in those moments, those expectations felt like motivation, but in reality, they were tension dressed up as personal standards. Standards can be useful, direction can be useful. But when that pressure becomes too harsh, it can narrow the mind, tighten the body, make even the simplest of things feel heavier than they need to be. And it can be so wonderfully freeing to realize that softening your expectations doesn't mean lowering your values. It doesn't mean giving up. It means giving yourself room to move, room to breathe, room to become better without needing to be forcing every single step. You can't become more confident by making every moment a test. In this session, you can begin to let your unconscious mind update your old patterns. Expectation can become encouragement. Self-pressure becomes steady self-support. And you may notice that when your expectations soften, your confidence strengthens. Confidence grows best where there's space to breathe. And so now, just begin by making yourself comfortable. And as you settle in, you can just allow yourself to be interested in what changes naturally occur when you stop demanding perfection and begin to allowing progress. Now, take a slow, easy breath in and then let it out. In a moment, I'll ask you to close your eyes and relax the small muscles around the eyes so completely that as long as you keep the relaxation there, those eyelids simply won't want to work. And now, when you're ready, let those eyes close and bring your attention to your eyelids. The tiny muscles around the eyes become loose and smooth. Imagine any effort just draining away, and those eyelids can become so relaxed, so pleasantly heavy, so soft, that you relax them to the point that you know they just won't open. And when you know you've relaxed them that deeply, just give them a gentle test and notice that they remain comfortably closed. That's it. And stop testing now and send that relaxation down through the face, into the cheeks, into the jaw. Just allow it to flow down into the neck and across the shoulders. And take a gentle breath in. And as you breathe out, allow that relaxation to spread down through the arms, through the hands, all the way down to the tips of your fingers. And with every breath, you can double that relaxation. Every sound around you helps you go deeper. And my words and the pause between my words becomes a place where your mind rests more completely. Now just feel a wave of relaxation flowing from the top of your head down through your body like a warm wave of comfort. Feel it flowing over your head and shoulders, moving into your chest and stomach, flowing down the back, into the hips, the legs, over the knees, into the ankles, through the feet, and all the way down to the tips of your toes. And in a moment, I'll count down from 3 to 1. With each number, you can allow your mind to relax more deeply. 3. Letting the body rest. 2. Your thoughts slowing down. And 1. Drifting deeper now. And as you drift here, you know that you don't need to make anything happen. You can simply allow what's useful to happen naturally, gently, all on its own. And as you rest here, listening to my voice, just imagine you're standing at the start of a quiet pathway. It may be a path through a garden, or run through a forest, a meadow, or maybe somewhere created in a part of your mind deeper and more relaxed than you ever knew was possible. You don't have to see it clearly. You can simply sense it, feel it, know it's there. And as you move along that path, each step takes you into a deeper level of comfort. 10 steps, 10 easy movements into a softer state of mind. 10, noticing the air around you. 9, feeling the ground supporting you. 8, just allowing your shoulders to loosen even more. 7, as the body remembers how to be calm, how to be totally relaxed. your thoughts becoming quieter. 5, halfway down now, deeper and deeper still. 4, your body and mind feeling more comfortable. 3, maybe a pleasant heaviness or a relaxing lightness spreading through your mind and body. 2, drifting inwards. And 1, deeply relaxed. Ahead of you, there's a wide open space, and at its center there's a beautiful old stone fountain, and water flows from it gently and steadily. The water doesn't hurry, it doesn't criticize its own movement. It simply flows, and because it flows, it finds a way. You can move closer to that fountain in your mind now, and notice the sound of the water, soft and rhythmic. Each drop releases what it no longer needs to hold on to. Each ripple spreads outwards and disappears into calm. And maybe you can imagine placing beside that fountain some old heavy expectations. Maybe they're stones or books, shapes of some kind. Expectations about who you should be, how quickly you should improve, how others should respond, and how life should unfold. And as you place them down, you notice that you're still you, only lighter, still capable but freer, still growing, but no longer burdened by unnecessary pressure. And as the fountain continues to flow, your unconscious mind begins to make its own quiet adjustments, softening what you've held rigid and strengthening what's always been true. And as you rest here, deeply relaxed, listening to my voice, you can begin to realize that expectations are just pictures the mind makes about how something ought to be. And the pictures that you carry within your head can be changed. The pressure can be released. A rule can be updated. What once felt like a demand can become a preference, a direction, a possibility. Now you may have learned somewhere in life that being hard on yourself would make you better. And it may even have helped for a while in some limited way. But what helped once doesn't have to rule forever. The child learns to walk by holding on to furniture, and yet at some point they let go and walk free. And your mind can let go now of old patterns that it held onto that are no longer needed. Confidence doesn't require certainty. Confidence doesn't require perfection. Confidence doesn't require you knowing every answer before you begin. Confidence is the willingness to remain on your own side while you learn, and you can always be on your own side right now. Now, there's a part of you that's carried a measuring stick, always comparing the present moment with some imagined ideal. This part of you may have believed it was protecting you from embarrassment or disappointment or maybe failure. And you can thank that part for trying to help and just allowing it to learn a more useful way to support you in the future. I'll tell you a story of a friend of mine who took up pottery. They love to make bowls from clay. At first, every time the clay bent slightly or leaned unevenly, or didn't match what they expected, they'd crush the bowl and start again. Day after day, their table would fill up with flattened clay, and their mind would fill up with frustration. Their pottery teacher came along and told them that they need to let the clay show them how it wants to be, how it can stand strong on its own. My friend began again, and this time when a curve appeared, it was shaped rather than rejected. When a mark appeared, it became part of the design. When the bowl leaned, the base was steadied, and slowly something more beautiful than perfection emerged. Character, usefulness, a strength, a hidden grace to their work. And they come to realize that their pottery didn't have to be perfect. It just had to be itself. And you don't need to crush yourself back to the beginning whenever life bends differently than expected. You can shape what happens. You can respond and you can adjust. That's real confidence. It's a very brittle confidence that says everything must happen my way. The deeper, stronger confidence says whatever happens, I can meet it. Now, just think for a moment of an area of your life where your expectations have been a little bit too harsh, too tight, and maybe just a bit too heavy. Perhaps they're expectations of yourself, of your performance. Maybe it's your appearance or your success. You don't need to explain it. Just let that area come gently to mind. And as it appears, notice the old feelings connected to it. Maybe there's a pressure or a tightness, a feeling of frustration or disappointment. And it's okay. You're simply watching from this calm place. Now take that old expectation and imagine it as an object in front of you. something rigid and unyielding. And you can notice how strange it feels that something made by the mind could seem so solid. And yet, because the mind made it, the mind can remake it. And as you watch, the object can begin to soften, not disappear, just soften. You may still want direction. You may still want growth. You still want the excellence. But now that excellence can breathe. Watch the object change. Metals become warm and flexible. Glass becomes mist. Hard edges become gentle curves. And as it changes and softens, you can repeat these affirmations in your mind. I can prefer without applying pressure. I can aim without attacking myself. I can improve without rejecting who I am now. And I can let progress be enough. And just allow those words to settle deep within, allowing change to take place gently and quietly within your mind. And now imagine stepping into the future, where in the past expectations may have tightened you, ground you down. See yourself there as if you're watching it on a screen. Notice your posture, your breathing. See your face. In this future, you have a new relationship with your expectations. This future you still cares, but is a calmer caring. They still prepare, but it's more of a support. And the future you still wants good things, but wanting is not desperation. And just notice how that future you moves through the situation with more ease. There's a space between the stimulus and the response. There's a space between the effort and their identity. And in that space, their confidence grows. And when something goes well, the future you receives it. And when something changes, that future you adapts to the change. And if something takes longer, the future you accepts it. And if something is not perfect, the future you remains kind. And you can drift into that future you now. Step inside. Look through those eyes. Hear through those ears. Feel that softer, stronger way of being from the inside. That's it. Feel the difference in your breathing, the looseness in your shoulders. Feel the difference in your mind when you replace I must with I can. Replacing it has to be with I prefer this. And perhaps you can be surprised by how powerful this softness can be. The water from the fountain is soft, and yet it shapes the stone. The breath is soft, and yet it sustains life. And the kind word is soft, and yet it can change the course of a life. And when your expectations soften, your inner strength doesn't vanish. It becomes more usable. And from this moment forwards, your unconscious mind can notice those signs of unnecessary pressure, the tightening of the chest, the quickening of the thought, the harsh inner words. That feeling that everything must be solved immediately. And when that old pattern begins, there's a part of you deep inside that can pause and to soften. A response that happens naturally and easily. A breath comes in. A breath goes out. And your mind says, there's room to learn. There's room to choose. Room to do this one step at a time. And just imagine your harsh inner voice changing, moving further away, as if walking down a long corridor. With every step, that voice becomes smaller, softer, less important. And a new voice takes its place. It says to you, you can do the next right thing, that you are allowed to learn. It tells you that you can be proud of your progress. It says you're not here to pass every imaginary test. You're here to live, to grow, to contribute, and to become. And now it's time to bring this session to a close. In a few moments you can begin returning to ordinary waking awareness, bringing back with you everything useful from this session. There's no need to rush. Your deeper mind can continue arranging these ideas in the background, placing each suggestion exactly where it belongs, allowing the change to unfold in a way that feels natural and appropriate just for you. And as I count from 1 to 5, you can return feeling refreshed, clear, grounded, and quietly confident. 1. Bringing energy back into the body. 2. Breathing a little more fully now. 3. Becoming aware of the room around you and keeping that softer inner confidence. 4. Moving your fingers or toes, taking a deeper breath, feeling your alertness returning. And 5. Eyes open when you're ready, coming all the way back, feeling awake, refreshed, and into the present. And from now on, whenever you notice yourself beginning to expect too much, too soon, too perfectly, you can take an easy, calm breath and feel a softening throughout your body. The shoulders loosen, the jaw releases, the mind opens, and in that moment you remember, consciously or unconsciously, that you can care deeply and hold on lightly. And the next steps become clearer simpler and more possible. Thank you for joining me on this journey today and taking this time to relax, reset, and strengthen your confidence from the inside out. Let these changes continue gently as you move through the coming days, noticing the small moments when you feel lighter, calmer, and more accepting of yourself. And until next time, goodbye and good mental health.